this is going to be our Star Wars discussion. How many times have you seen it?
I've seen it once.
Only once. I've seen it twice, but it was the week after it came out. It was the week of Christmas, so it's been a while. I was going to watch it again this weekend, didn't get a chance.
And guys, if you have not seen this yet,
stop listening right now, yes.
Yeah. Are there really fans that haven't seen it yet, though?
That's a good question. I would hope not. I've seen a couple of places online give up the whole spoiler warning thing, saying anyone who cares about it has seen it by now.
And honestly, it's after seeing it, the spoiler thing seemed very silly because it reminded me of the scene from Hot Shots where they were practically calling Han Solo dead meat. Like the whole, I mean...
See, I didn't catch that.
I mean, the whole scene with him and Leia, like if you didn't know he was going to buy it by the end of that scene, I don't know. See, they could have foreshadowed it more.
Well, just rolling back a bit for spoilers. I had one spoiler going in. I saw an article on, I think Cinema Blend, about, or IO9, one of the two, probably IO9, about Daniel Craig's cameo. And I figured, they're just talking about a cameo. It should be innocent. This is before I saw the movie.
No, you don't click on anything.
Yeah,
you don't want it spoiled.
I found out that Rey was the Jedi because it talked about the mind control scene, the mind trick scene, Jedi mind trick. But that's the only spoiler I went in with, which I kind of regretted. And I'm not a person who cares about spoilers.
You kind of knew she was going to be a Jedi too, just from the poster.
I still thought it was going to be Finn.
Well, they still both could be.
I messaged Roberto after I saw it, and I mentioned, I said, we both batted about 500, or we both got like half a point because he called Ren as the Jedi, or Ren as the son of the Solos, but not Rey. And I called that the mentor was going to die. I just had the wrong mentor.
Well, same here. Yeah, we did. Well, you know what? That was the one. I mean, we didn't know Luke Skywalker was just going to be like a cameo.
See, I was waiting for Luke to show up, so I didn't even think about Han at all. I didn't realize he was the mentor. It didn't connect to me until he's standing there on the bridge with Kylo. They both got their hands on the saber, and I quickly did the math and realized, wait, shit, he was the old wizard.
Uh-huh.
Oh, fuck.
He was the mentor. It was... I'm trying to think of where it was that I realized he was the mentor. It was, there was him telling Finn she always, she's going to find out.
Women always know, yeah.
And there was something he had said to Ren, and then they make to Rey, and then they make it really obvious when he asks Rey to join their crew.
Yeah. I was so wrapped up in Luke's going to show up and die that I wasn't even on that page. Was completely unprepared until just before it happened, and then it was just that sudden oh fuck, and then it happened.
Yeah, so it
was. I think it probably worked better for me because I didn't see it coming.
Because I saw it coming from a mile away. It was like, wow, okay, could you guys lay this on anything? It was like, I've made this discovery of the Kennedy assassination, but I'll tell you about it after I get back from the mission.
Reminds me of the other bad joke that Lemmy told. But anyway, so overall, what did you think of it?
I like it. I'd probably put it somewhere in the middle. I haven't quite decided what my rankings are. I'm kind of vying whether Attack of the Clones or this was better. I'm not sure.
That's interesting. Now, do you put Clones? Wait, Clones. Oh shit, that's low. I thought you said Sith for a second because there's a debate about Sith, how it compares to Jedi.
I think Sith is definitely better than Force Awakens.
Wow, I'm very different. To me, I need to revisit Empire, but it's at least second best, if not best.
It can't be better than A New Hope.
It is.
It's just a remake of A New Hope, just about.
As I've been calling it, it is a new improved Hope. New and improved Hope.
But you know what? I feel we kind of had the best shots in the entire... In the teasers and the trailers. I mean...
Not to me, no.
To me, there wasn't much memorable about it.
Well,
it kind of came off in the end as an excuse just to get the old band back together. And,
maybe it's because it finally felt like a Star Wars movie, and maybe I was riding that high, but I loved Poe. I hope there's more of him in the subsequent movies.
Yeah, there should have been more of him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, not just more of him per se, but more of his attitude.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole, I don't know who goes first. I can't see, behind the ridiculousness of him wearing the outfit, the mask, is perfect.
Oh no, I'm not Ren. Poe Dameron. I loved.
Yeah. Oh
Oscar
yeah.
Isaac. Okay.
Well, yeah. When he met with Ren, his first thing was, I don't know who goes
Oh
first.
yeah. Okay, I forgot
wearing,
to see.
I can't see you behind that mask.
Right. Yeah.
He points out the ridiculousness of him wearing that outfit.
Right.
And there should have been more of that, of that outsider view kind of, like Rey kind of should have ventured into that territory too.
I loved Rey. She's one of my favorite characters in the entire Star Wars universe now.
I mean, I guess she was all right. I think she was a bit too trained in the ways of the Force.
Okay.
I'm hoping there's a way that they justify her, like,
there is only
being a full-fledged Jedi.
There was only one time where I think that was an issue for me. When she mind tricked the stormtrooper.
Right, she mind tricked.
How did she know how to do that? That didn't work for me.
Nuts.
Everything else worked. She just kind of sees things. With all of the engineering stuff, all the mechanical stuff. She was a scavenger.
True. And I mean,
and she, of course, the Force plays into that too. It's intuition. She knows just how to work things, and she can understand BB-8.
Well, no, I think there's going to be more about her past,
perhaps,
and her, of course, father
in
the later movies.
There's an interesting theory. Obviously, they're making it really look like she's Luke's daughter.
Yeah,
there's an interesting,
most likely it.
Yeah, there's an interesting fan theory that she could be Obi-Wan's granddaughter.
Right, there's a lot of crazy shit. Like, how does that even play?
Well, he did have 20 years on Tatooine. Doing
Very
nothing.
True.
And I kind of like Tatooine. All of the it plays into a lot of the original trilogy in some interesting ways. I would kind of like them to go that way. I think she probably will be Luke's daughter.
I think so too.
Now, as far as her abilities with the lightsaber and Finn,
Finn is more believable because the stormtroopers were trained in that type of combat.
And Rey used that staff a lot. She was really good with that staff. And I watched the lightsaber duel, both of their lightsaber duels very closely the second time I saw it. Finn uses it like a baton. She uses it like a staff. Neither of them use it like a sword.
Right.
So it makes sense that they would they know how to use a weapon. And if you know how to use any melee weapon, you can extrapolate on how to basically use any melee weapon. So it made sense that they would have some ability with it, but not really use it like a trained swordsman.
So, yeah, I'm hoping they explain that she had some training when she was really young.
Well, she used it like a staff. She used it
maybe,
I don't think they need to explain that.
Not so much as the weapon fighting, just, being...
her abilities with the Force, yeah.
Yes, that was more the problem I had than the weapon
Again,
fighting.
Really, the mind trick on the Stormtrooper was the only issue I had with that. Ren was already in her head when she kind of went into his. So that made sense that you could intuit something like that.
Well, how did she get into his head? I mean...
He'd already opened the path.
Yeah.
He was already probing her mind. She just kind of went in through that path.
Like, he had some training.
Well, yeah. And you can assume Snoke, I almost said Snopes. Snoke trained him after he turned to the dark side.
And boy, Snoke or whatever, just, I don't get. Like...
What specifically?
It's just Gollum all over again. Like, there's no... I mean... Maybe they shouldn't have gotten Andy Serkis. Maybe he's overdone this, kind of acting.
But consider the Emperor the first time we saw him. He was a hologram. And he wasn't even played by Ian McDiarmid. It was Clive Revel in Empire, if I recall correctly.
Well, right. But still, it just, wow. It seemed very unoriginal.
Well,
the bad guy's going to be Gollum.
See, I didn't see Gollum. I saw the Emperor again. And again, they were paying tribute to the originals.
Well, of course, but I mean, it was Gollum. It was like the bald head, the face. I mean, the ears.
I didn't feel that, but I see where you're going, but it didn't play that way for me at the time.
Like there was nothing new about any of that effect, you know?
Hmm.
I think that's what was disappointing about it. There wasn't anything that you could take away from it as like, wow, remember that visual effect they did with this or that? It was just kind of, it was there, you know? They took a lot of what was there already.
As far as visual effects, it was all good to me because it was practical in most cases.
But it was practical, but they really didn't do much with it. And they still had some really cheesy CGI characters.
Well, they had two CG characters. One was a
Right.
hologram, so that admittedly Snoke was kind of a cheat because he was a hologram, sure. Maz Kanata I didn't have a problem with.
It was almost Jar Jar-ish, you know? I mean,
Oh, no. How was she Jar Jar-ish?
she didn't look real. In fact,
in that sense.
I would say Jar Jar at points looked more realistic.
In terms
than
of the
she
CG,
did.
you're talking.
She
Okay.
looked more like Puss in Boots from the.
The quality of the
Sure.
version I was watching may have made her look better. So yeah, if I'd seen it on the big screen, maybe she would have looked a little less convincing.
So it was kind of like, what are you doing? Why would you do this?
As far as the characters go, the only issue I had with the movie, and I can't fault the movie itself for this, is I just couldn't stand Finn.
Really?
He just irritated the shit out of me. And it's nothing, it's not a flaw. I mean, everything fit the character, and John Boyega played the role perfectly. I just didn't like the guy.
I mean, first thing, positives about this, that this is definitely the best acted movie in the entire series.
That's why I say it's a new and improved Hope, because and why I think it's better than A New Hope, because it's A New Hope with better acting and better writing.
The problem is, though, the storytelling just isn't epic, you know? They took all of Lucas's flaws and got rid of them, but they also took what made Lucas, you know? Just that large scope of storytelling. Here's probably the worst part of this movie. What did they blow up Coruscant?
No, that's not Coruscant. In fact, they gave the name of the planet right before it blew up. I don't recall it offhand.
The fact that I have to ask that question,
it does look a lot like Coruscant. And it is the seat of the Republic, yes.
Right. They blew up multiple planets, which, I mean, was kind of ridiculous in itself, that the weapon can just blow up multiple planets at
I won't
the same
get
time.
into the science of a Star Wars movie, because it's fantasy.
Right, but I mean, come on.
I'm not going to nitpick it sucking a sun dry. Or star dry. I'm not going to bother with that.
There's nitpicking, and then there's driving a bulldozer through the hole. Come on.
I don't care about the science in a Star Wars movie. It's fantasy.
But there's that. But then just the emotional reaction to those planets getting destroyed were just kind of like, oh, wow.
It was a little
guess I'm not getting that $5 back kind of thing. You know, I mean, not even that.
It was a little anticlimactic because we knew nothing about those places. And we didn't care about anybody who knew anything about them. Like Alderaan we knew nothing about, but we cared about Leia at that point. So
exactly. That was perfect.
Mm.
And so it was just kind of like, whoa, they're going to turn this on us now, and that we better do something. Yeah. It's like, really? And the death of Han Solo was just, I don't know. It was just very like, so he's dead now.
Well,
I mean, I love Chewbacca's reaction.
Yeah.
That was priceless.
Well, and then the kids went out and basically took Ren's head, or tried to.
Right. The kids were just kind of like, hey, we just met that guy, and Leia sighs. It was just...
Well, Leia almost fell when she, felt it through the Force, and then she, embraced Rey at the end, which was weird because they hadn't met yet. But, Pat actually... Oh, yeah. Pat mentioned something interesting. Speaking of that last scene where Leia and Rey hug, Chewbacca walks right past Leia. They don't even look at each other. Right after Han dies.
And you know what? He has a right to be pissed with her. She sent him to his death.
Okay, I never connected that. It seemed odd to me, but you say that, and it actually makes a lot of sense.
Because the whole dead meat scene ends with her going, "You get our boy back.
Yeah.
They're still good in him."
Right.
And once she says that, if you didn't realize he was dying,
I was still waiting for Luke to show up.
Like,
I was distracted.
That was like at the end. There's like, here, dead meat. I'm gonna give you some knives to juggle and a flamethrower. Could you see? I my flamethrower is kind of stuck. Could you see what's wrong in there inside of it?
Yeah. And of course, we have to talk about the emo fanboy in the room, Kylo. He's interesting.
I like him. I think he's a very interesting villain.
Yeah.
The criticisms, and man, this has pretty much warned me completely away from the rest of the Star Wars fans. I feel the prequels didn't do it. This certainly did it, because the people complaining about this and the people going on like it's the best one ever, it's just, I don't know. But the people that complain about him, and the people that complain about Anakin from the prequels,
oh no comparison at all. But
they don't get the movies. It feels like they don't get the point of Darth Vader.
Right.
They want Darth Vader to just be this emotionless badass. And that's not who Darth Vader was. No. Even before the prequels came out, that is not who Darth Vader was.
Right. Even in the original trilogy, he was anger personified. That's kind of his thing. I mean, you give him bad news, he force chokes you to death.
And the point was, though, he's not a badass as much as he was pathetic.
Well, yeah.
You know? There was an interesting article about why Lucas didn't really anticipate the reaction to Star Wars. It was supposed to be an anti-war movie.
Right.
And it got co-opted by like conservatives into being a pro-war movie.
Right.
And you know, the same thing. There's one thing that the author of the story didn't point out, is that this country loves fascism.
Yeah.
I mean, did you see the car commercial with the Imperial March and the cars and the white cars and the lines and coming down the street in columns?
Yeah.
I mean,
because it looks cool, kind of like why Lemmy collects Nazi memorabilia.
Exactly. Exactly. But the point of the original trilogy wasn't that Darth Vader's this badass. The point was there was a scared old man behind the mask.
It was as much about Vader's fall as it was Luke's rise.
Well, yeah, I mean, Luke's rise was his chance to redeem Anakin.
Right.
And that Anakin was, a bitch ass punk who could have done such great things and could have created a great, galaxy.
Right.
But instead got into his own insecurities and betrayed everybody.
Actually,
I shit the bed.
I forget who I was talking to about this, but it's kind of a variation, Anakin's story, the prequels. It's a variation on the hero's journey. Because in the hero's journey, the traditional one, the mentor has to die so that the hero can learn to stand on their own feet and do what they got to do. In the prequels, it's what happens when the mentor doesn't die. The mentor stayed around, he got too attached, and it led to his undoing.
Obi-Wan being
No, Sidious or Palpatine.
Oh, okay.
Palpatine was the mentor for Anakin coming up. It wasn't Obi-Wan.
True. Palpatine was luring him.
Palpatine was his mentor, and Palpatine, of course, stayed around, and he didn't have a chance to break free and learn to stand on his own. He just became the yes man who ultimately fell.
Palpatine was the temptation, the siren call, and he needed to be resisted.
But I mean, ultimately, even by the end of Phantom Menace, he was his mentor. Obi-Wan was his boss, not really his mentor.
True. So you bring back to this with Kylo Ren, and he's just this unsure, scared. I
loved that about him. I actually really related to him.
Right. That's the point. That was the point of Anakin too. You
Mhm.
know, that's what Lucas was trying to get at.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Lucas is a crap director. Incidentally, there's a petition to try to get Lucas to direct 9 because the director who's slated for 9, I can't think of his name, Colin somebody, he
It's like the
doesn't have a
Jurassic World
yeah, he
guy,
doesn't have a great track record. But
which was the biggest movie until Force
yeah,
Awakens came out.
but there's this petition to get Lucas to direct. We've seen what Lucas does with directorial jobs.
I just wish
Let him
Lucas had
produce.
written the story and somebody else directed.
We know what Lucas didn't write the good Star Wars movies.
He wrote.
He wrote A New Hope. He didn't
Well,
write Empire.
it was his story, though.
Oh, the
still.
story, yes, yeah, okay.
And honestly, the expanded universe story, I thought was better than what they did with this.
Mm.
I mean, it doesn't really make sense what happened to the Republic and this First Order thing so far. Like there was a Republic, but then there were these First Order guys, and but who it just doesn't make any sense. Why are they the Resistance? You know, like what? Why are they still resisting 40 years later?
Yeah. Well, because there are still pockets of there's a reborn empire called in the First Order.
Yeah,
and the expanded universe got into that. The Emperor's death and Vader's death didn't end the Empire. There were still pockets. It still existed after that.
well, right, but I think, and the reason why they didn't, of course, was because it's boring for them to be the establishment. He still wanted to keep them on the outside.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't make any sense after 40 years. Like the Emperor is dead for all this time. There is a Republic, but there's still like a resistance. There are a lot of theories about who this. I want to call him like Snavely or whatever. This is a very Snoke, very Harry Potterish.
Yeah. Andy Serkis has said that he's a new character, so he's not Polygeus or Palpatine or whoever else has been speculated.
Well, my theory, and I'll throw this out here because I haven't seen it anywhere, is he's a clone.
That's interesting. That kind of could go with he's a new character. That could fit.
Right. It was something that they did in the Heir to the Empire.
Yes.
Stories.
Joris something or other.
Yeah,
was a clone of the Emperor.
I think they were saying he was a clone of Obi-Wan. They were hinting at.
Oh, okay.
I don't think they ever actually came out and said who that was.
Oh, okay. I thought maybe I just assumed he was a clone of the Emperor.
And then the fact that they tied it in that Obi-Wan visited the cloning factory.
Yeah.
In Attack of the Clones. And think Attack of the Clones came out after the Heir to the Empire books, so.
Okay, here's an insane theory, and I am only half seriously, maybe not even half seriously putting this forward. They recovered Luke's original lightsaber, Anakin's saber. Presumably, it still would have had Luke's hand attached.
Yeah.
What if he's a clone of Luke?
That makes sense, actually.
Does?
If they found his lightsaber,
yeah, they would have had
his hand.
Right, of course. And if he's the big bad and Luke turns out to be the good guy, yeah. I have a bit of a wild theory about these movies.
He's a clone of Gollum, actually.
Oh, yeah. I don't think they're going to stop with the trilogy.
Of course not. It's going to be Orgasmo.
Yeah, we talked about
Star Wars 37.
Yeah, we talked about this a bit on Facebook. Consider the MCU. There have been like 13 movies in 7 years. I think they're going to do something similar. After 9, I think they're just going to stop numbering them. In fact, the official title isn't even Episode 7. That only shows up at the top of the crawl.
Oh, yeah.
I think they're going to have multiple continuities with, the Rogue Squadron. I think Poe's going to get his own movie, his own set of movies. They're going to have the main story with Rey. And I think this trilogy is just going to be a way to transition from the old cast to the new cast. I have actually some a detailed theory here, or hypothesis. We killed Han in this one. I think in the next one, Kylo's going to find Rey on that island planet with Luke. He's going to get the map somehow. He's going to come there. He's going to basically kind of try to step to Luke. Rey's going to basically say, you killed my first father figure. You're not going to kill my second. She's going to, get in front of him. Luke's going to tell her to run. They're going to duel. Luke's going to pull out some amazing Jedi moves because he's been meditating on an island for 20 years. Or 30 years. And Luke's going to die. Third movie, Leia's going to basically say, go get his ass. And at the end of that, I don't know if they're going to kill Ren or if they're going to give him some kind of merciful, renewal, try to, get him back to the good side or whatever. But I think by the end of 3, Leia's going to take a powder. And then we're going to just have entirely new cast.
I don't think Luke does that much.
Really?
In the
Okay.
next one, actually.
Because that would be disappointing if he's not like a major part of the next one. If he's not like Yoda.
Luke is Yoda.
Yeah. Yoda was a pretty big part of the.
Nah, think about it. Yoda in Empire, he just trained Luke for a few scenes.
That's true. I love those scenes. And, yeah, I adore those scenes. So
right,
maybe that's why I'm
scenes.
Making that more of it than it is.
And he'll talk like Sean Connery about the quickening and stuff because I think they're on the set of the Highlander.
Yeah.
And I think Luke is going to train them and send them out into the world, and I don't think Ren is in, Luke's league.
But that's the whole reason Ren was looking for the map. Actually, this is something that's been annoying me. There are all these posts I've seen about all of these questions people have about the movie afterwards. First off, J.J. Abrams did a TED Talk about how he loves the mystery box. Actually, a really interesting talk if you haven't seen it. Of course he's going to leave a billion questions. Also, there are 2 more movies at least coming up to answer those questions.
Yeah.
But the question that's been irritating me, because it's obvious to anyone who's seen a fucking Star Wars movie, how is Ren going to complete his training? People haven't figured this out yet. But obviously, he has to kill Luke. He killed his father. Now killing his master is how he finishes his training and fully turns to the dark side. That's why he was looking for the map, to find Luke so he could kill his master, just like Vader did in A New Hope. Vader killed his old master.
Oh, his old master came looking back for
Well, yeah, but he killed his old master.
He killed his master in Jedi, if you're following your first line of...
Well, in that sense, yes. But I'm saying his light side master. The one who actually trained him. Kylo Ren, obviously, to complete his training, as Snoke tells him, he has to kill Luke.
I really thought Mr. Belvedere was his trainer.
That's the whole reason he was looking for the map, so he could find Luke and kill him to complete his training.
That reference too obscure.
I know. I loved Mr. Belvedere. It was one of my favorite shows back in the day.
Belvedere.
So I think that's going to be what he does in the next one. That he's going to find Luke and go after him. Whether or not he's going to kill Luke is up in the air. I think he will, but I think there's going to be that confrontation. If you think Luke is just going to be Yoda, what do you think the A story is going to be?
The what?
What do you think the primary story is going to be if Luke is just Yoda?
Well, I think the first half of the movie is going to be about their training, his training them. He'll probably tell them some backstory, of course.
Well, no, it's just her now. Finn is in recovery.
What?
Finn is recovering. He's not training.
I thought he came with her.
No? It was her and Chewie.
Oh,
flew to the island. She was alone. Presumably, Chewie flew off as soon as she got off the Falcon. Incidentally, so interesting to see a woman in the captain's seat of the Falcon. Loved that. Really reminded me of the end of Serenity with River. So it's just her on the island with Luke.
So he trains her. You know, they're gonna remake Empire next.
Yeah,
I mean, it's gonna be the same thing where.
Except she's already there. We don't have the big battle of Hoth.
Well, right. Well, the Battle of Hoth will be redone with Leia leading
and Finn and Poe. Yeah.
Poe, yeah. And they'll be up against whatever the First Order's throwing at them, and meanwhile she'll be training with Luke.
Hopefully, Poe will have gotten Finn drunk and laid between movies so he could chill out a bit.
Well, come on, the motherfucker was living as a stormtrooper.
I get it. It makes sense. He just irritates me. He's the typical whiny, nice guy.
And how about this? Do you think it was a reference to Clerks that he was in sanitation?
It very well may have been.
Stormtrooper can't install a toilet.
It very well may have been. Didn't connect to that at the time.
He's sort of like, I mean, of course, there's the whole trash compactor thing.
Uh-huh.
Remember the trash compactor? Which, of
I
course,
did think it was interesting that they punked her out so much, and I think it's just because everyone loves Brienne that they're pissed off about that. I
yeah,
don't
she
know if
had
she was supposed to be a big character.
she had such a small role too. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it was just what, 3 scenes maybe,
Two
but
that I recall. No, maybe three. You saw
yeah.
her walking at the beginning when they were taking apart the townspeople.
So of course that story has to continue with
You think she got out?
yeah.
Has she been confirmed to be in this next one?
I don't know, but I mean that definitely needs to be more of an
Mm.
arc. He needs a nemesis too.
I would kind of get a kick out of it if they just punked her and that was it. If she just has that one small role and he was just trolling us, making us think that she was going to be a major player.
Yeah, maybe.
I have to say, I did think Finn was dead at the end when Chewie carried him onto the Falcon.
Nah,
I figured they killed him, and
you only get one death per Star Wars.
I didn't catch it when they were taking him away on the cart, and he said, "I've got a pulse."
Except for Sith, of course.
I missed that line. Yeah.
You had
I was kind of relieved that he was dead until I saw that he's coming back. I really hated Finn.
wow, really?
And I like John Boyega as an actor. I loved him.
And you liked this movie, but
he
a
just
major
irritated
part
me.
of it, like practically the
I
male
think-
protagonist of the movie,
I think
you
it
didn't
was.
like.
I think it was the whole. What are you doing there? What are you doing that? The whole thing with the nod. That just really didn't fit to me. That joke.
Oh,
When Han sees Rey behind him and he starts doing the whole reverse nod, and Finn's like, "What are you doing that? What's that supposed to mean?" Irritated me. that and the whole I'm a good guy. I'm a good guy. I'm with the rebellion. He was just such a bad liar and so obviously trying to get Rey to notice him that it just irritated me.
how much social skills do you think a stormtrooper
Oh, it fits.
would
It
actually
makes
have?
it makes perfect sense. And Boyega played the role beautifully. He just irritates me. The
How
character
many
irritates
movies did
me.
it take us to figure out that there were people in the stormtrooper?
Fair
or
enough.
were there
Fair enough.
machines?
I don't know that I ever really figured it out until the prequels. I thought Vader was a robot up until they officially established that he's Luke's father.
Oh, even with the brain scene or the
I forgot about that. That predated
Empire.
it. That was I think the moment when I thought, okay, there's a guy in there.
yeah, it was the whole point of that scene.
Yeah.
That he is not a robot.
Mm-hmm.
There's someone in there, and in the end, the suit that everyone kept talking about being a badass was really his prison.
Yeah. And I liked how people are pointing out that the helmet Ren wears is 10 times heavier than it needs to be.
Yeah.
And did you notice what he put it on when he was interrogating Rey? Didn't catch it till the second time.
I was dying. I was hoping for the line when he took it off. I was hoping she would say, could you please put it back off?
He puts it on what looks like rocks. I realized the second time it's ashes. It's Darth Vader's ashes.
It's Vader's ashes, damn.
And, the helmet is 10 times heavier than it needs to be. After he was shot by the bowcaster, he was punching the wound to generate dark side energy. The weight of the helmet puts him in pain so he can generate dark side energy.
The clone could, of course, be a clone of Anakin as well.
Possibly, yeah.
Taken from the ashes.
Yeah, if they had access to the ashes. I'm assuming those are Anakin's ashes. I haven't read anything, but it makes sense. Because they do look like ash.
But I think Luke's a better guess.
Not for the ashes, but for Snoke, maybe, yeah.
Right, who'd be a clone of.
Yeah. Well, they've established that, okay, we have the sword, we have to have had the hand. And if anybody's going to be a clone, that's just the obvious choice.
Or it's Mr. Belvedere.
Uh-huh. I would have preferred Wesley. Yes, I used to watch that show. And with that, I think we've exhausted this topic.
I think we have. How many brains would you have given it?
Oh, Force Awakens?
Yeah.
I'll go 4.5.
I'm really torn between 3.5 and 4. I'm gonna go 3.5.
Okay.
I think if you're not a fan of Star Wars, this really wouldn't, appeal much to you.
Yeah.
Because most of this is fan service.
Exactly, and that's, I think, maybe why I liked it more than you, because I wanted the fan service after the prequels. Disney and Abrams knew exactly who they were targeting, and it was all of us who grew up who saw the originals in the theater as a kid.
And honestly, my predictions, I thought, were pretty much on the money, I thought.
Okay.
The whole...
What were your predictions?
Well, I'd said that this was all, it was a lot like the, Soviet Union, Russia thing I used, and that, people just, didn't believe or remember how bad things were under the Empire.
Right.
And there was the... and of course, why Luke is, on his own. That I'd even brought that up, that he put himself in exile.
Yeah.
Because I knew the whole Yoda thing, Yoda put himself in exile.
Right.
And Luke did too. Of course, I assumed Luke was actually going to be a part of the movie, which was kind of disappointing that we saw his fucking hand and then we saw him turn around and greet him.
Actually, never confirmed to be his hand. Let's assume it is. I mean, he's touching R2.
Of course it's his hand.
Never official, but...
Who else would have a hand like that and be hanging out with R2D2?
Actually, it looks nothing like the original fake hand.
No, it doesn't. They've put a different hand in every movie.
It's been replaced. It's been 30 years. Technology moves on.
Every artificial hand in all 7 movies has been different.
Actually, I saw a meme today suggesting that Rey is going to be the next to lose a hand.
Yes.
It shows her and says, "Hey guys, what did you do in your second movie?" Anakin lost a hand. Luke lost a hand. And she's like, "Oh shit."
My guess would be Ren loses the hand.
Makes more sense, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we've pretty much exhausted that topic. So
yes, we have.
Bowie tribute next week. Talk to you then.
Later.